I think we're starting recording. So, hey guys, welcome to this episode of the podcast. I know it's been a delay. I've been trying to change this podcast into something more journalistic, kind of. And as I make a more of a doc-based series, which I'm currently filming right now, I want to do a bit of a MMA reaction and also a bit of current events interview. So the first portion will be with Mustafa and I doing a regular UFC reaction videos. And then the second part of this video will include a small discussion I had with a American student who's currently seeing various racial inequalities with her in general and in academia as well when she's trying to apply for various academic positions in the States. Before we get started, again, check out Christian's website, gamertech.ca, and you'll get $25 off of any computer building purchase that you make if you use the promo code Nik. The details will be in the description. And also, I have a video on my channel explaining exactly how you can build a computer, and I did it using Christian's platform. So if you watch that video, you'll have no excuse but to build your own PC and buy it from Christian's site. Anyway, so yeah, Mustafa, how are you?
I'm good. Over here it's kind of warm, kind of cold. The Canadian weather, it just doesn't make up its mind, does it?
Yeah, dude, like it was like 15 degrees, then it was like 21 degrees a few weeks ago. Now it's like all gloomy at like 12 degrees.
Yeah, it was bright earlier this morning when I went to pick up some groceries at Walmart, and then now it's the temperature just dropped and it's all gloomy again. So yeah. I'm excited for today's video, today's MMA reaction.
Yeah, and today's actually a special one I got for you. Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn, and if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so Ken Shamrock is one of my favorite professional wrestlers of all time, and he's also an MMA fighter too. And Ken Shamrock, initially he made his WWE debut in 1989, but then he returned at I think around 1996, I believe, and or 97. 1997, he was the special guest referee for Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart. That was the WrestleMania.
I still remember that episode.
And then you have Ken Shamrock's best rivalry was with The Rock, like his most famous rivalry. And Ken Shamrock and The Rock had this the feud over the Intercontinental Championship. So they weren't World Championship caliber just yet. So they had excellent chemistry, and they had quite a bit of rivalry too. And each played got the chance to play heel or face. Heel is basically the villain, face is the hero. And now we have Dan Severn. Dan Severn's also a professional wrestler too, and also an MMA fighter. And he has quite the record in MMA. How much was it?
No, it was actually a huge win streak. But the thing with him that I find surprising is that he's a formidable striker as well as being a wrestler. I actually compare him to Gaethje.
Yeah,
in a sense.
He does and he doesn't look like, if you imagine a UFC fighter, for example, and a professional wrestler, you think of someone like Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley, for example, looks mean,
Even Ken Shamrock looks like he was a professional bodybuilder.
Yeah, and they look very professional bodybuilder-esque. Whereas when you look at Dan Severn, he looks like a dad. That's the best way I can put it. And he has the dad stash. He has a thick mustache, and he looks like he's a giant, like this teddy bear.
Biggest comparison is that don't judge a package by its cover.
Or the book by its cover, yes.
Yeah, because he's kind of like Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury looks like a drunk Irishman, but ends up being a heavyweight lineal champion, knocking out these men like Deontay Wilder and all that. Right? So he's kind of like Dan Severn is exactly like that, where if you look at him, he's kind of like he looks like a low budget porno star, but he's probably one of the best strikers I've seen in the early UFC era.
Or like the stereotypical like American dad, you know. And if you like think about it, if you judge him, you won't be able to tell that he has a far better record than many MMA fighters combined. And God, like it was, and like he's typical Christian, very like simple kind of guy, and then boom, when he enters the ring, boom, like this is a completely different person altogether.
But the real question is he better than CM Punk?
Oh, definitely far better than CM Punk. CM Punk does not even compare. Like this Dan Severn and CM Punk, it's like comparing an elephant with no, scrap elephant, a woolly mammoth with an ant. That's the comparison between CM Punk and Dan Severn.
Now, how dare you talk about the UFC god CM Punk?
If you take professional wrestling in terms of character, because character is part of professional wrestling, because there's the theatrical element to it, CM Punk does stand out a lot more because he does have a more professional wrestling personality. He can talk. He can present himself as such. Dan Severn was a bit more quiet, but he was more action-oriented. Like he's very soft-spoken, but when he entered the ring, he was a completely different beast altogether. And he's also been NWA champion. NWA was the National Wrestling Alliance back during the territory days. And he held the title at the same time as being an MMA champion. So he was two champions, like a champion in two different sports and two different fighting, or two different combat sports at the same time, both theatrical as well as the actual the actual fight itself. So, for the lack of a better term, that is. Yeah. So yeah, he's quite the talented guy, Dan Severn. One of my favorites. Very underrated professional wrestler too. Like a lot of people forget the fact that he's also a professional wrestler and an MMA fighter at the same time.
And a successful one.
And successful in both of them too. Both fields. People don't remember him in WWE back when it was called WWF because he just didn't get a chance as much, and I think he just disagreed with the way Vince McMahon was pushing television. Like the content he was trying to push boundaries, and I think Dan Severn, he did not agree with some of the creative ideas that Vince McMahon was trying to utilize, and he kind of backed away, and he preferred at that time to go on with his MMA career.
Yeah.
But yes, I'd love to see these two legends collide.
Yeah, so I got the video right here. Let's get started.
UFC 6 super fight.
Look at that dad. Dad was the bodybuilder.
Two masters of their discipline. Let's meet one of our competitors.
Yeah.
A three-time
Ken
UFC
Shamrock.
star, a super fight veteran, and the Pancrase Association world champion. Ken Shamrock is one of the most popular
I saw the traps,
respected fighters in the octagon. Let's see what he can do tonight.
I've heard all the hype. I've seen all the press. It's time to step into the octagon and see if Shamrock can't tame Dan the Beast Severn.
I just love the early UFC aesthetics.
I like how professional wrestling the setup is. Like the lights, the stage set. But I love the boxing entrance too, like very boxing.
He had a draw with Hoist Gracie.
Yeah. The Hoist Gracie match with Ken Shamrock is absolutely amazing.
4 years shoot fighter, goes to Japan.
Lasted 45 minutes.
Managed by Bob
I like the cage too. Like the
1977.
The very like I remember
Bob, who runs the Shamrock Home for Boys, which opened in 1968.
Is that Big John the referee?
Two are inseparable today.
Yeah.
A marvelous story.
Dude, he looks
of a
so
man
young.
opening up his house and his heart.
What year was this?
This is like early UFC. I forgot the exact date.
2000, I'm guessing early 2000s?
Yeah.
Donating $500 to help buy some mats. Jim,
Grappler, made throw punches, arm leg locks, master submission.
Well, arm leg lock. He was the one who did the ankle lock before Kurt Angle did.
Yeah.
He used to do that the ankle lock, and he's pretty. He brought like what he called legitimacy to professional wrestling.
About 40 miles south. Last couple of years, he's also fought in Muay Thai.
Of course, Shamrock and shenanigans. Oh man.
There's his coach.
He looks like that coach from Rocky.
Yeah, Mickey, right?
Yeah, Mickey. Very Mickey-like.
Do you know what he reminds me of?
Yeah.
Cuz Mike Tyson's coach.
What was his name? Mike Tyson's coach?
I forgot the last name, but his first name's Cuz.
Ah.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. No, it's I forgot about his coach too. I haven't. It's interesting. Yeah, but he does look as a very Mickey-like coach. Doesn't that the age look lower?
Yeah, it is. It's a bit lower, but it's also because these guys are taller than a lot of the middle and flyweights.
True. And also, like the professional wrestlers, you kind of have to look at giants at the same time.
Dan Severn tore through the competition at UFC 5 to be named the Ultimate Fighting Champion. Tonight, the Beast is back, and he's ready to show the world.
This is the original Beast before Brock Lesnar. That's called the Beast.
I've turned up the intensity for this fight.
Look at those hairy arms.
I know.
That you see right now will be stepping aside.
Hi, Dad.
It'll be time to release the Beast.
Here comes Daniel Severn.
Yeah, he's holding both belts.
He has won so many titles.
Coldwater, Michigan.
1994 National AAU Greco-Roman Champion Senior Division. 1994 National AAU Outstanding Wrestler. National AAU Sambo Champion Senior Division. AAU
Well, he's done Sambo too.
70 plus titles. I think he's actually found a home, Jim, in the UFC.
Yes, he loves it. He's perfectly matched in this kind of a situation. He approaches it properly. He's grateful for the notoriety he's getting, and he's learning more and more each fight.
Okay, Dan, please save the underarms. Please save the underarms. All right, grappler, shoots immediately. Heavy striker. Limited submission skills, eh?
No, that's what I mean. He's both a striker and a grappler, but he's probably not as strong in submissions as Shamrock is.
Because Shamrock has better submissions. Yeah, let's keep going.
He'd like to knock you down, get on top of you. He has a number of different finishes that we saw in UFC 5. Prominent being a choke, or of course, punching his opponent. In the corner will be Eric Hybestreit. He will be the man with the towel, and his manager, Phyllis Lee, and wants to say hello to Ohio.
This is the super fight, 30-minute time limit, 5-minute overtime. 50,000 to the winner, 25,000 to the runner-up.
Remember, they still have those ring girls?
Let's go to Michael Buffer.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Bruce Buffer.
SEG Sports Corporation presents the super fight. 30-minute time limit in a matchup of
this is my. Can you pause?
Men in martial arts in the world.
I currently work as an announcer in professional wrestling shows, and this is the guy whose model I follow. I love
Bruce Buffer.
Yeah, Bruce Buffer's model, and so yeah, he's a great announcer. But yeah, let's continue.
World today, ladies and gentlemen, from Casper, Wyoming, there's only one thing left to say. Let's get ready to... Introducing first, a two-time veteran of the Ultimate Fighting Championship and returning super fighter. Fighting out of Lockford, California, he's ranked #1 in the world by the Japanese Pancrase Association. From Lockford, California, 31 years old, 6 feet tall, 220 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the shoot fighting champion of the world, Ken Shamrock.
Yo, take it in. He only weighs 200 pounds or 20 pounds.
Yeah, that's not that again. It's still a heavy guy. He's still a pretty heavy set guy, like 6 feet tall, 220 pounds. So that's still a heavy guy.
Solid guy.
But it's he's very lean for that weight too. Very relatively lean. Of course, he's wearing those professional wrestler trunks.
AKA Speedos.
Yeah.
Returning tonight as the reigning Ultimate Fighting Champion.
They're not wearing gloves.
70 national and international titles to his credit. A record of 5-1.
Yeah, that's the thing with early UFC because they could like do elbows. They could, but the thing is, you could wear shoes in the ring. But like if you're wearing shoes, you can't kick someone.
Yeah.
No, that's so like the rules were a lot different in early UFC.
Early UFC. So this is the early days of UFC.
Yeah, this is UFC 6.
Oh, this is just the 6th episode.
Yeah.
He's 37 years old and comes in weighing 260 pounds. He's 6 feet 2.
Oh, and small fact, this is the only UFC. This is the first UFC fight that didn't have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in it.
Really?
Until then, the first 5 fights were all with Royce Gracie.
So, if anything, so this was the first one with no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because it was like Ken Shamrock versus Gracie and all that. So and when I say Gracie, he's the founder of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu family.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got like Royler Gracie, Renner Gracie, and like a whole bunch of other people in the clan or the family that spread out that style of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay, that is interesting.
From Coldwater, Michigan, he is the reigning Ultimate Fighting Champion of the world, Dan the Beast Severn.
Weight could be a big factor here. Severn is at 2.
He's 6 years older too, 37, and a lot.
Look at the weight fucking difference in a grappling match. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, that's huge because Shamrock is a shoot fighter, and a shoot fighting is more it was a very old term of professional wrestler who knew how to legitimately break people, basically twist them into a knot. This is the person who could do that. So they used to, in the old carnival days, to the shooter, what they used to do was, hey, you've seen it in the Spider-Man movie too. Hey, you compete with this guy, spend 3 minutes and you win $3,000. You remember those?
Yeah.
So basically that was they used to have the shoot fighter who would make sure that, this guy, the so-called participant who thought that was fake, he would make sure that he wraps him up and beats him up pretty good.
Yeah.
And that too, you got rid of him under a minute normally. So yeah, they used to, that's the origin of shoot fighting. Well, let's go.
60. Shamrock's up to 225 from 205. 6'2" for Severn, 6 foot for Shamrock.
55-pound difference.
5,140 feet. They can grapple for as long as 35 minutes tonight. 30-minute time limit, 5-minute overtime. I don't expect
it to go straight 30 minutes?
Yeah.
There was lots of concern about a time limit. I don't think that's going to happen. These two are very evenly matched. If it comes down to grappling, I give the edge to Severn. If it comes down to punching, particularly on the feet, I'm going to give it to Shamrock.
Shot for the legs.
Yeah, he went for the legs. What did they do? Severn pushing him.
With the weight advantage. Severn black trunks. Shamrock in the lavender trunks.
And Shamrock, during our interview with him, said
Come
people
on.
don't respect
Come
my
on,
grappling
Shamrock.
ability. I think he wants to.
Yeah,
show
I saw it twice. I believe Severn tried to get Shamrock into 2 one-arm guillotines.
Really?
2 one-arm guillotine attempts already. Do you know what a one-arm guillotine is, right? So you would catch the person's head and neck at the same time. So it
Right.
makes it a lot harder to get out because they lose
Yeah.
mobility on one side.
It's pretty devastating. But yeah, let's continue. Like they're currently still like
He's a very
locking
confident
up. It's
wrestler
just a
here.
lock up
And
for
this
now.
is one of the few fights we see where they're not striking in close, they're literally wrestling.
Who will make the first effective move?
Come on.
Severin reaching for the leg. Couldn't get it. Shamrock showing surprising power, standing up on his feet, despite giving away the weight. John McCarthy clears an object out of the ring.
Come on,
People who
Shamrock.
don't know wrestling are seeing this and they're wondering what's going on. And this might be frustrating for Severin because Shamrock's just coming in there,
Whoa.
trying to just tie Severin
Needs
up.
the
We'll
head.
see now if something else happens.
A restart for the two, and they'll go at it again.
That would never happen in modern MMA.
The knee, right?
No, not the knee, but the break after the knee. So after the knee, when Severin was shocked,
Yeah.
Ken Shamrock stood back and gave him his time to recover. Whereas in modern MMA, that's a go ahead to punch the guy in the face and take him down and start doing ground and pound.
Like basically they just charge at the guy
Yeah.
and not take their time.
Yeah.
Very different. Very different. It's still, yeah.
Cat and mouse game between two masters of their disciplines.
Fatigue is so important in this fight. I think Severin knows that.
Severin and Shamrock continue to grapple on their feet.
Shamrock doing a very nice job of keeping himself away from the fence.
Whoa,
We'll see
whoa.
what he can do.
Got him in the guillotine. Come on.
Got it.
Severin's got a
Lock it.
That's a choke.
Lock it. Oh my goodness. No.
Still fighting for the advantage.
Shamrock doing a nice job here. He's going for the choke again.
Boy, the crowd's down Shamrock.
Shamrock trying to work in on the choke. Severin punching to the leg.
That's it.
That's
That
it.
chokes him out.
Whoa.
That was such a
Severin tap.
Shamrock.
No, what pissed me off is at a certain point, he actually Severin had a grab of both of Ken Shamrock's legs.
Yeah, and Severin technically had the advantage.
Yeah,
And
at that point, even if he's in a guillotine, take the 30 seconds to completely grab the lock.
Yeah.
If he picked him up and just not even used both their body weight to roll over, that would have been the correct defense in that moment. But again, we can sit here and talk bullshit all we want, but so I don't know how he feels in the actual ring in that moment.
Yeah, at that moment, it's difficult to judge. But this is relatively fast. Like the chop off. Maybe he just wanted to avoid a lot of damage.
Oh, there'll be plenty of respect now for Ken Shamrock.
He knew what he was doing.
Shamrock wins the super fight.
You're basically some trash talking.
Look at this.
Good job, brother. Good
No,
job, brother.
it's more like because
Here was
Severin
a
is like
try
a senior, right? Yeah,
He
so
had a
he's
chance
got
a couple
them.
times at chokes. I think there's one of them right there. And watch Severin get out.
Dan got
Whoa.
He got out of the first one.
Got out of the first
I think
one.
that Dan realized that this altitude was going to take a lot out of him because when he stood up, I don't think he believed he could win this fight.
Yeah, so he got him.
So at 30, he got him.
He had him
Difference
trapped.
as well as his technique.
Oh, he had him trapped.
Very
Yep.
strong. He also has a
Because keep
technique
in mind,
He
when
almost
you're
had it twice,
like
so it means that he
grabbed like this, basically your blood supply as well as like the air supply, like the oxygen is cut off at this point. It looks simple, but
But the
reality,
guillotine is really deadly.
like we call it front. I call it front face lock, like because in professional wrestling we call it like front face lock. So apologize for the different terminologies, but yeah, in the guillotine, when you have the choke, it's sort of like you're blocking like the oxygen that's going into the brain, as well as like this is a very sensitive part, and you should not be able to last more than a few seconds. Like you should be out. So I think Severn tapped like it was by instinct, and also like I've personally like in wrestling, and someone had me in a guillotine, and I was chewing gum at the same time. Dumbass, I was chewing gum at the same time, so the gum also stuck in my throat. So I was like, "Get me out of here!"
Yeah, no, like the thing with guillotines themselves, like at that moment they hurt like crazy. And then there's another one called the fulcrum choke, where a normal defense for when you're in a guillotine is either put one arm here, but then that loses mobility. So what you do is tuck your chin in. So it's the bone that's protecting your throat, right? Creating more space around your neck. But then there's a separate thing called the fulcrum choke, and the common place this is seen, or like the first example where this is seen is in the Khabib McGregor match, the first one. This is how McGregor got choked out, where they essentially crank their wrist like this, so it basically like almost pops your jaw out of its joints as well, right? So these kind of locks are extremely painful.
Yeah, and like they don't look flashy. Don't get me wrong. Like you see martial arts movies, you see the flashy kicks, flashy stunts and whatnot. But something as simple as this is sometimes more than enough in a fight situation.
Yeah. So let me play just to see what else is there.
Let's go to Jeff.
I'm here with the victorious Ken Shamrock, winner of the super fight. And Ken, you tamed the beast.
I sure did,
That too in a few minutes.
2 minutes,
my
actually.
technique.
2 minutes, 5
and
seconds.
I couldn't wrestle with him on the ground. And if he took me to the ground, he'd win. And he's Greco-Roman. He couldn't take me down. He can't throw me. I proved my ability. I can do submission and I can wrestle.
Well, there was no doubt you seemed to come up there and not mind tying up with a wrestler. You said, people don't respect my grappling ability. It seemed you were quite content to stay in that lock position, make him spend energy.
I want him to throw me. I want to see if he can throw me. If he threw me, then I'd go from there. I want to test his ability. I want to see what he had. Found out.
No, like grabbing a 265-pound man and trying to toss him around takes out a lot of energy from him.
Oh yeah, he's like gassed, and he himself is not a small guy.
He's got good balance, but I was able to hold him off.
Was there any special way you prepared for Severn?
Yeah, I've got my big friend Scott, who's one in my dojo. He's about 260, 270. I believe he'll be on altar in the next event. So I used him to lay on top of me. I used him to crowd me up against the fence. I practiced the guillotine because I saw him duck his head a lot to grab a leg. So I knew he was going to do that. I wanted to wear him down a little bit in the middle of the ring, make him use some energy trying to take me down. I knew he was going to drive me into the fence. So as soon as I felt he was a little tired, I let him drive into the fence. I knew he was going to reach for the leg. I ran down and choked him.
It seemed you applied that choke the first time and he was able to get out of it.
Barely. I didn't have it sunk in real deep. When I was going for the Adam's apple, I was trying to put the bone on the Adam's apple, make him tap quick. But I missed the Adam's apple. The second time I just sunk it in and choked him.
Were you surprised that when he shot there, he just left his head between your legs where you could easily grab it?
No, he's done that before. Every time he puts somebody in the fence, he reaches up for the head and reaches down for the leg. So I had to clear my head, then go for his head.
What's next for Ken Shamrock?
I don't know. I'm going to enjoy this victory, and we'll see what's going to happen next.
Well, as a wrestler, you've earned my respect as a wrestler.
I sure appreciate it because a lot of people had doubted me against Severn because he was a grappler. And I stayed in the guard with Gracie. So no one really knew what I could do because of Gracie's technique. He keeps people out of using their own technique by keeping them in the guard. So Gracie's good at doing that. But people don't really know when I get wide open, I can do a lot of stuff.
Seems you have another very special person here with you.
Yeah, this is my wife. She's been to all of them also. I think she's better. She's my toughest opponent.
Well, you said you wanted to happy and celebrate this moment. Why don't you take a look here at the monitor and
let the man kiss his wife? Well, like, what the fuck's going on? Stops him midway to ask a question.
Watch yourself in the ring after that fight.
Well, I was pretty happy right there because I knew he was tough, and I just tried to wear him down and choke him out. I knew if I went for a leg, it was gonna be tough. I had to get in the right position. But he ducked his head. I was working on that. He did what I thought he'd do. I choked him.
Like,
Well, it's obvious your father means a great deal to you. Your wife's here at your side during the super fight. She means a
so
great deal to you.
I thought he was going to show a replay. What the hell?
Sport, the UFC seems to mean a great deal to you.
Yeah, I'd like
He
to say,
interrupted
hi to my
this man
compadres,
for that.
Felipe and
For
Stella,
this.
Gabi,
Yeah.
Adriana,
Man,
Angelica,
good UFC.
and
You're
Robert, Yolanda,
this
and
is
my two sons,
horribly
Ray, Connor, and Shamrock. I love you
disorganized.
guys.
How about that belt? How about that belt? How's that feel around your waist?
That's sweet victory. You know, no one's ever won the super bout. Last time was a draw. I'm the first champion in the super bout. I'm the first champion in Japan. I'm very happy about some of the stuff that I've succeeded at, and I'm going to keep going.
Well, you're a deserved champion. Ken Shamrock, congratulations on your super fight victory. Back
Yep.
to you, Bruce.
Thank you.
That's right. He is the first super fight champ, and there's the
So that's this video. What was your opinion on it?
My like, you know, I think I heard that, you know, some people were disappointed with this. I heard. Did you hear that too? That some people were disappointed with this?
I did, but I was also quite happy because it really showed Ken Shamrock's talent.
Yeah. Like, I was very happy that this was like pure wrestling. I was very surprised there was very little striking. I was very surprised because, like, Shamrock is a good striker. He's an excellent striker.
Yeah.
But I guess he just wanted to show, like, post-interview when we looked, I think he just wanted to show off the fact that, hey, I can wrestle too, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not just some striker only. I can wrestle. So he proved his point, and he was able to out-wrestle a guy who's not only 55 pounds heavier, a lot more senior, like 6 years over him, well into his prime, this person, and also has a height advantage, 2 inches taller too. So
and I'm thinking the reach is also bigger for...
Reach is bigger for Severn too. So Severn has a bigger reach, no less. But I think conditioning-wise, Shamrock looked great though. This is an example like, you know, hey, your conditioning needs to be important too. And also he looks great. Shamrock also looks great. So this is sometimes the video you need to also see. Like, people say, oh, fat guy beats a bodybuilder, but then this could be reversed.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of those things where you gotta... It's an art, right? There's many ways to win in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah, so I actually got one more video that I think you'd be interested in. This is more of my interest. This is where I would come in. But it would be great to get your view on it as well.
This is Bravo and Gracie. So Gracie is what? Can he was like
155.
155 and Bravo is 165.
Yeah, and Gracie is 48 years old.
Jesus.
And Bravo is 43. And now the thing with this rivalry, is that the Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is extremely traditional.
Yeah.
They essentially rule the jiu-jitsu era and their area, and they're almost like the traditional Chinese kung fu equivalent, right?
Right.
So their say goes and all that. And then Bravo would kind of be like the Bruce Lee-esque guy, where he created modifications to the traditional Brazilian jiu-jitsu in his locks and guards and stuff, and created 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu.
Right, yeah.
And there's a little bit of animosity with the Gracie family saying, like, no, you got to keep it traditional, whereas Bravo's like, you're keeping it, like improving upon it. Right?
And there's nothing, I agree with Bravo on this one. There's nothing wrong with like improving an art form, especially a combat art form. Like there's no wrong answer in how you, especially in fighting, there's no wrong way to take down somebody. Especially if in the old days, like in wartime, they have the saying, right? All is fair in war.
Yeah. But like even then, like an art is meant to be improved on.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is the video that is really close to my heart, and I want to show it to you because you are a wrestler. You're familiar with some of the grappling techniques.
Yeah.
But
really
just
everyone on their feet in here right now.
Yeah, I would be too.
Years in the making of this rematch. 165 pounds for Eddie Bravo, 155 for the Gracie, representing Gracie, my God. And of course,
What episode of was this?
Oh, this wasn't UFC. This was a private match.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Logan Paul, Ben Askren style-esque,
Wow.
where they just want to prove who was better.
Okay. No, let's look at this. This got to be
Representing his
interesting.
10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu crew. And let's take a look at the rules once again. 1 round of 20 minutes. Submission only. Heel hooks are
Submission
allowed.
only.
You can't strike.
Yeah, so
Okay,
no
this is
striking
pretty
of
much-
any kind, and so no
Okay.
slamming from guard. Time won't be stopped if submission is close.
And how many rounds is this?
1 round, 20 minutes.
Round of 20 minutes. Okay, this is going to be interesting.
And
I
you got to
hope-
remember, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is intense
Yeah.
in terms of cardio.
I've seen some. I loved watching tournaments,
Yeah.
local tournaments of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So you got some really talented kids in the local tournament. So I was like, holy, this is intense. And we used to watch these guys practice.
From the guard, and of course,
Yeah, no, like it's gonna be intense.
this rematch is finally happening. Everyone's going nuts in here. Kenny, I'm so excited.
Ladies and gentlemen in attendance, and people watching from around the world. You know what time it is. The reason we're all here today is a little awkward for me because I feel like I'm in between family and friends right now. But I love it too. Make some noise right now, LA.
Bro, just announce the guys and piss off. We're not gonna
Right?
see.
Well, again, you kind of have to put
In
some
the
like
red corner,
personality.
from
Yeah.
Santa Ana, California, 43 years old.
From the Flat Earth
representing
Society.
Planet Jiu-Jitsu.
Is he in Flat Earth Society?
Bro, like this is the jiu-jitsu is the only thing I respect about Eddie Bravo. Remember I showed you the video of Eddie Bravo like talking for an hour about Flat Earth?
Oh.
Like he tried to convince Joe Rogan of Flat Earth. And then when Alex Jones was on Joe Rogan's show, Alex Jones was wearing a NASA shirt, so Eddie Bravo walks in, he's like, I'm gonna fucking beat you up. Take that NASA shirt off. The Earth's flat, motherfucker.
Is this guy for real? All right, from the Flat Earth. Oh my God! Now you're exposing me to this world. Like,
Yeah, no, his Brazilian jiu-jitsu is top notch though. That's all I can say.
yeah, there are some people like that where I respect. I've met some of these people. I respect their wrestling. I respect their Muay Thai, for example. I just don't respect their political views. When I listen to their political views, I'm like, get the fuck out. Get the hell out. Sorry if I used to.
Yeah. Don't worry.
He's a
You can
third
fucking
degree
swear.
black belt under Jean-Jacques Machado. Eddie Bravo!
He is motivating me so much. I'm so.
And in the blue corner, from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, 48 years old, 155 pounds, representing Gracie Humaitai. He is a 7th degree black belt under the legendary late Helio Gracie. He
All right,
is
continue watching it. I'm gonna go grab my charger for my
Gracie.
webcam.
Once again, your referee tonight will be Scott Nelson.
I want you guys to fight for the submission, go for the kill. Do not stop until I tell you to stop. Shake hands. Take a few steps back. On my go.
Right?
Go.
Okay, so there.
with this is just honored
I'm back.
to be the.
Oh, there you
I
are.
am, Kenny. I'm honored to be sitting next to you, and I'm honored to.
You
be
didn't miss
participating,
much.
in my opinion.
Just like the referee saying what the rules are.
History.
Eddie Bravo
Okay,
immediately
so he's
jump
got the
guards
leg.
in his half guard.
You see that half guard,
Kind
Kenny?
of a quarter guard, maybe. A position that I know that Eddie Bravo has worked on a lot.
Yeah, look for Eddie to start
Come
using
on.
his lockdown technique here from the half guard, where
Yeah.
he actually he's almost in that position now, where the bottom leg, you see it'll be his right leg.
And this has to hurt because the way Eddie Bravo's pulling Royler's leg is almost putting him in like a split kind of position.
Oh yeah, Gracie's kind of like, but I'm seeing like Gracie's calm still.
Yeah.
Like he's held his nerve so far. So let's see what Gracie does in response to this.
Yeah, this is like a tough position to be in a jiu-jitsu sense. A half guard.
But that's how you have to be with.
I'm just imagining my foot stuck in, my leg stuck in there. It's like,
that Royler Gracie
yikes.
he likes to cut across with that kind of knee slide there.
Right.
So both of these guys in strong positions, just different takes on it. And it looks like Eddie's trying to get underneath and under the hips of Royler.
Now,
this has to hurt.
Had the and privilege to train with Royler for this event, and let me tell you right now, that knee slice guard that he does with that right knee or his left knee is very, very difficult.
Yeah, trying to get him loose out of that guard is going to be a bit difficult.
Hips, the power in which he does it. I mean, the leverage he gets with it. It's.
So this extension of the leg is something I would not do.
And he was
because that would only put more strain on it. More prone to injury. But yeah, what he's doing with the right leg is something I would do.
Really look great here.
Oh yeah.
Well, I would like push it up to release the stress on that side.
To be able to be here and see this.
Yeah.
You know, I say it a lot, in the MMA game, but every time you have the opportunity to face a legend, you have the ability to steal, all those credentials, all of his accomplishments, and that is what Eddie Bravo did with that upset win in ADCC.
Yeah.
And Eddie Bravo obviously made a huge name for him.
Yeah, and he's got the leg as well, so like there's no more movement in the actual legs.
Oh yeah, like this one, it's like you're putting off.
It would be if Eddie Bravo could pull it off.
Yeah, you see right here, he's like it's kind of blurry, but Bravo's holding on to Gracie's leg.
Yeah, very smart tactic. Very, he's got the grip. The grip's pretty strong.
Yeah, how funny is that?
Yeah, see, he's grabbing it again, making sure he can't extend it out.
Underhand.
Still considered the underdog.
Leg, come on.
Eddie Bravo, John Jax Machado right there, the legend.
And then pushing it out to make it stretch even more, so making it more uncomfortable for Gracie.
Too many accolades for me to even begin to mention. To begin to list.
Inspirational, one of the most inspirational figures in jiu-jitsu today.
Right, for those of you who don't know, Jean-Jacques has partial use of his left hand. He's, and regardless of only having a thumb on his left hand, managed to strangle almost everybody that comes his way.
Absolutely. Guy is a beast. And look at this. This is straight out of the repertoire of Royler Gracie here. He's trying to reach behind the neck of Eddie Bravo.
And then put into a choke, essentially.
Yeah. He's trying to get back. Okay, so he has a hold of his body.
Yeah, I can tell you, Eddie.
But look, the hand here is right behind near the neck area, right?
Okay, that's
try to tangle them up.
Trying to get out of that guard as well.
As I mentioned earlier, a technique that
in the position right now that Gracie is in, I would just bring this the left leg forward a bit.
Yeah.
So it would be in a more relaxed state, and I would worry more about putting Bravo into a chokehold, which would automatically lose the tension on the half guard.
Right.
Right. Yeah. That's the strategy I would follow, and I think that's what Gracie's following. But because of Eddie Bravo's amazing defense, he's just not able to get a lock.
Oh yeah. All right, let's continue.
Because Royler compared to Eddie has a speed-based game. Royler is much faster. Royler is much better on top. All this on paper, of course.
Right.
So look for Eddie to try to slow the pace down here. And of course,
now both legs are locked, so it's kind
of the camp was being able to shut down Eddie's attacks here.
Now that's very much a part of Royler's game. I mean, throughout his whole career, his whole style was to shut you down, be fundamentally sound, don't make any mistakes, just keep kind of pressuring until you break. Do you think Eddie Bravo's going to be able to take this pressure here?
Yeah, we'll see how long he can withstand this. Eddie, and Eddie's very tricky. One of the things Eddie did to help secure a victory was pretend he was being choked.
Right.
It's a very famous story that and if you ever get to talk to Eddie, he'll tell you the story. But he'll let people put him in certain positions and certain chokes and start to make the gurgling like.
Right.
Oh, you got me.
That's really true.
Commit, into something that's not going to work and then exhaust themselves. And then when they give up on the choke that's not working, Eddie has his attacks. And here you see Eddie with his lockdown. Look, it's such a classic battle, man. I mean, the knee slice versus the lockdown. I mean, both those moves are designed to beat each other, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the pants are coming into play here for Eddie Bravo. That is able to kind of soak up the sweat on the leg of Royler Gracie. Who would you give the advantage to in wearing those pants?
Yeah, no, that's actually a really important move because, like, in jiu-jitsu, there's the gi and no gi, right?
Right.
So techniques are different as well. And the use of pants is allowing for, so normally in a situation, sweat will be accounted for because if your leg's sweaty, you're more slipperier, you can slip out of movements. But because Bravo has pants on, that sweat doesn't come into play. And then, like, let's say you're in a gi type situation and I need to be pulled into a choke, right? If it's I got my, like, let's say my shirt's a gi, my opponent can just grab my gi and yank me down. Whereas if it's a no gi, like if it's a compression shirt, they have to, like, reach around because, like, they can't grab a compression shirt enough to, like, yank me down. They have to, like, they have to be able to reach the back of my neck to yank me down. Get the same effect as it. So,
that's
like, there's
Gracie's part. Smart on Gracie's part then.
Yeah, no, that's smart on Eddie Bravo's part, right?
Right. Okay.
Because Eddie Bravo's using his clothing as his benefit, like with the being able to be more abrasive with his leg-based holds.
Right.
Because Gracie's not able to move out using his sweat.
Sweat can be slippery and it's hard to, like, hold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's using pants to soak up Gracie's sweat. So, like, Gracie might be, based off of experience, my sweaty leg will slip out of a lot of tough things. But now that's not an option.
Yeah, okay. No, this is interesting. Let's continue.
Would you prefer to face an Eddie Bravo with or without pants?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Don't fucking ask the question like that. Would you face Eddie Bravo with or without pants? Was the question that the announcer asked.
Yeah, some of the stuff they see in commentary.
That's a tough question to answer.
Without context.
He's using it to his advantage. Eddie Bravo is such a smart guy, very smart competitor.
See how he's pulling it out? That's like a calf tear or an ACL tear coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Putting a lot on Eddie Bravo right now.
I'll tell you right now, Royler is not going to change his attack, Kenny. He is going to drive that knee through the middle and drive that knee through the middle and continue trying to drive that knee through the middle until he gets that pass.
Now, this is a similar position that Eddie Bravo, when he was able to catch Royler here, looked like Royler was in a great position, and then in an instant, Eddie Bravo, with his flexibility and triangle attack, was able to set up a gorgeous submission and win.
Yeah. The overhook wrist control triangle, which the camera watching, it's about holding the wrist like this and not like this.
With that other grip,
it's holding from the bottom. And if you guys take time to watch the replay, you'll notice that Royler was Eddie managed to get control of Royler's wrist that way and make the space.
Sorry, just give me a second.
No worries.
I'm just gonna put my charger. All right, continue.
All right. Yeah, let me just press play.
For those who couldn't see it at home, Jeff, just grab my hand again.
It's a difference of here and here.
Right.
Okay, and it doesn't seem like much, but the way Eddie grabs
grip. Yeah.
Let me show you one more time. It's a grip. This is the grip Royler wants to avoid. This is the grip Royler wants to avoid that Eddie's really good with. If Eddie gets this grip, it's really easy for Royler to break the grip right. When you come from underneath, you cannot break that grip, Kenny.
Yeah, and this is something that Eddie Bravo, in terms of his grips, you can see, that's what he actually morphed. Because, like, grabbing a person's arm to pull them into a lock, if you grab me like this, I can switch. Versus I can't move out. Right? So this is an addition in 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh.
So it's minor things like that.
So he did minor tweaks and improvements on the existing technique.
Eddie used that in 2003 to secure that.
And that's what traditionalists like Gracie didn't like.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
I knew you knew what you were talking about.
I dibble-dabble.
It's not luck that this guy was a jiu-jitsu.
Look at that, man. Look at the intensity. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, look at that split. Oh, yo.
He's checking out that leg. I'll tell you right now, Royler is in pain. I'll tell you right
So
now,
much
Hoyler is
pain,
not
I can
happy.
feel it.
This is the electric chair technique by Eddie Bravo.
Eddie Bravo
Yeah.
was setting this up from the beginning.
Hoyler is in pain right now, I promise you.
Yeah, I called this in the beginning, remember? Almost like in a split position.
Really testing the flexibility of Hoyler Gracie right now.
The groin hip area of Hoyler is in a lot of pain right now. You see
It must be burning. Holy shit.
And we have
Ooh, look at it.
A brilliant reversal from Eddie Bravo. He's on top here.
Wow.
Holy shit, he got back on top.
Yep, he's on top.
And he's putting more pressure on it as well.
So hard.
So, do you know how bad of a position Gracie was with Eddie Bravo on top? Because not only is his leg completely stretched out, he can't put it back into place because he has to push all of Eddie Bravo off.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
just 155 pounds.
Wow.
Hoyler Gracie to deal with. Hoyler still not in a terrible position. He's not in the threat of a submission at this point, but certainly being tested here in the half guard as Eddie's working to pass the guard.
Let's see, he still has that.
He's trying to move his leg to be able to wiggle out.
Pressure on the hips. Hoyler is very uncomfortable here. I promise you can. Although we have the guard pass by Eddie Bravo. Very few people have been able to pass the guard of Hoyler Gracie. This is amazing.
You can see Eddie just trying to stay calm, just keeping his breath.
Kenny, I'm trying to stay calm.
Yeah, Eddie clearly in control here against Hoyler Gracie.
Wow, this is amazing. You see a little bit of frustration from Hoyler. He keeps making his hand gestures. I'm not sure what he's trying to say with that.
Well, again, it is on him to try to escape at this point. Eddie in control here, inside control. The referee is not going to break them.
I don't know how many of you guys can see, but his very good friend, of course, the one and only Joe Rogan in the background, looking on intensely.
My man Rogan. I'm surprised Rogan's not commentating right now.
I know, right? This is his pick.
Oh, that was an escape by Gracie, but...
Oh.
Oh my god, fucking neck. Yo, you see that neck crank right there?
Yeah.
He's trying to pull off the pants.
I mean, Hoyler is a true warrior here, Kenny.
Eddie Bravo. Look at this. Look at it.
There's good. Nice. Nice. He's got on top. He's on top.
Yo, that escape from the neck crank was amazing.
He's a great escape.
What a beautiful positional exchange from Hoyler Gracie and Eddie Bravo.
What a show these two are putting on for us, Kenny. Ladies and gentlemen at home, I hope you are pleased. A quick replay, let's see what we have here.
Look at this escape from Hoyler Gracie as Eddie Bravo was just about to get his second hook in.
Look at that left hook that's already in place really deep, but Hoyler able to shake him off the top.
Yeah, you see that?
That was a hell of an escape.
Yeah. And now he's working
That was a hell of an escape.
of Eddie Bravo.
We see the lockdown here that Eddie Bravo throws on there. Now look, this is where I was saying, the time, the conditioning is going to start to play a factor now. We're 10 minutes in, you know, I believe at this point, Hoyler is going to start to take control of the match.
It's now 9 minutes left now.
Thrown his attacks at Hoyler early in the match. Hoyler, like I said, weathered the storm. Very interesting.
Could we be seeing a little comeback here from Hoyler Gracie? You talked about Hoyler getting stronger as the rounds went on. Could we be seeing Hoyler Gracie pour it on now with just under 9 minutes to go?
Yeah, Hoyler Gracie is not only a jiu-jitsu fighter, a jiu-jitsu artist, he's an athlete. He is a true athlete. He is a healthy person. This guy wakes up in the morning and just starts eating healthy, like watermelons, and
he lives by it. It is a lifestyle for him. Now look at this setup.
Oh shit!
Hoyler's onto it
this time.
No, he isn't.
Eddie with that, looking again for that overhook wrist control triangle.
Now this is where you do not want Eddie Bravo. He's on the side of his hip. This is where he's dangerous and able to scoop under the hips of Hoyler Gracie. Let's see if Hoyler can get him flat on his back again.
You hear the crowd starting to chant. I'm not sure who they're cheering for.
And look at this setup from Eddie Bravo.
Again, same setup.
Yeah.
The electric chair attempt.
Ouch, that hurts.
Yo, Eddie Bravo is a genius. The way he sets his opponents up.
From Eddie Bravo once again in half guard. Everyone.
I like his technique. I like Eddie Bravo's technique.
Eddie Bravo is most
Yeah,
like Gracie's got good fight.
Yeah, but like Eddie Bravo's technique, he's a genius when it comes to the setups and stuff.
This position, like I said, he calls it the electric chair. And if it wasn't for Hoyler's amazing flexibility
and toughness
and just grit, I mean,
and look at this. What a reversal from Eddie Bravo.
Yeah, put him back in the electric chair.
I mean, these two guys in their 40s are putting on more of a show than any of the other competitors.
Yo, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Both these guys are in their 40s.
Yeah.
And Hoyler Gracie's pushing 50 actually. He's 48.
48, yeah.
And they're actually putting on a better fight than some UFC fighters.
It's like two masters fighting at it, you know?
I lost count already. Both these guys have had some beautiful exchanges here. What would have been points in your typical Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu match or submission wrestling match, but of course here at Metamoris we are going for submission only, and it's Hoyler looking to try to pass that tricky guard.
Oh, we got only like 6 minutes. Well, 6.5 minutes left. Does this fight go like the full 20?
I don't even know, but like, I think it will.
Eddie Bravo now with that left side underhook. Could he be looking for another reversal or electric chair setup?
We have 6.5 minutes, Kenny, and when you're exhausted, 6.5 minutes seems like a lifetime.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know.
Yeah, he's correct.
And when these guys are going at it with such intensity for the past 14 minutes.
Let's see how the time.
That probably does feel like forever.
Here.
Well, Eddie really worked hard for this match. He took it so seriously. He finds so much inspiration in his 2-year-old son, and he worked very hard for this. Coming in tremendous
Another electric
shape.
chair here.
Another electric.
Yeah.
Third time. Holy shit.
Unbelievable. He's pulling it off time and time again against one of the best guard passers in Jiu-Jitsu history, Hoyler Gracie.
If not the best guard
Yes,
passer,
absolutely.
arguably.
And look at this, another reversal from Hoyler.
Hoyler with his basics, just being able to come on top. Look at, and another reversal. This is remarkable.
Yo, Eddie Bravo's reversal techniques. Yo, look at that ankle.
Yeah, ooh. I can see it.
Here with a brilliant strategy against Hoyler Gracie.
Look at John Jacques going nuts.
Let's see if Scotty separates them, puts them back in the middle here.
Scott Nelson, the referee.
They're too close to the edge. They might fall off.
Yeah.
And you can tell by Gracie's walking that.
Yeah. Bravo is the advantage.
I am going to go home and practice all this stuff on Monday.
Absolutely. Bring me with you.
You're on top. Yeah.
We have a little.
Come on. He was on top. You're on the bottom.
We have a little.
No, you're on the bottom. You're on the bottom. He's on the top.
Disagreement on where they should be restarted exactly.
They should be on the sides actually in this kind of situation.
Yeah.
So Kenny and I could explain exactly where they were.
Get the position.
Some discussion going on between Hoyler and Eddie and the referee Scott Nelson
Get your knee
here.
down.
Now, see, now, in my opinion, I think we should start from the feet. Just start right back up.
Or the
And Eddie's probably would just drop the guard anyway, but it's Hoyler
His here.
back
You
here.
had the hooks.
Yeah, no, bro, like, this guy's like a sex coordinator. Let the guy actually
Just
like the leg up is okay. Like he did like what you want him to do. Like put both legs open like a missionary. Like come on.
Fuck, just get them going, man.
See what happens here. This is a common problem in jiu-jitsu where matches get thrown to the edge of the mat and they get recentered again. It's very difficult to find that exact position.
Let's see if we can get a picture of the video to take a look.
They're trying to get a replay. Bro, this fucking dumbass of a ref. Just yeah, look.
Yeah, Eddie's on
top.
Gracie. Yeah, he's on top.
Ready? Go. Here we go. We're back at it. Eddie Bravo on top. That kind of quasi half.
Yeah, Bravo's supposed to be on top.
Eddie Bravo might be in a good position to take back here.
We saw this position earlier with Samir and Guilherme.
Yes.
Where Hoyler could possibly make a knee bar happen, although it looks unlikely here, but let's see what happens. I thought I saw that right there. Maybe I'm tripping. Definitely tripping.
Yeah. You're tripping. I'm tripping. You can see Eddie Bravo in a great position. If Hoyler gets on top, he's still in trouble. He's still in the threat of that reversal or electric chair. Now look at this possible neck break setup from Eddie Bravo.
Bro, don't say it too loud.
Of course, Eddie Bravo known around the world for his twister submission. A submission that I love myself.
He's been using it since blue belt. I mean, Eddie Bravo knows how to do this twister. His nickname used to be Twister.
Yeah.
Probably still is, I guess, right?
Yeah. Hasn't changed.
You can still call him the Twister. Yeah, he won't mind.
I'll be honest with you, man. I'm impressed with Eddie's cardio here tonight.
Absolutely.
With his conditioning, he doesn't seem to be tired at all. You know, for a 48 and 43-year-old man to be going 20 minutes.
These guys are so impressive.
Amazing, man. That is a thing of beauty.
Look at this roll.
Yo, holy.
Both guys looking for the calf slide there, although Eddie seems to be a little deeper. Hoyler is in trouble.
He might be attacking the calf slicer
No,
here.
no.
He's got it. If
The
he can
calves.
roll through, maybe belly
Oh,
down.
the calves. No.
Hoyler says he's
Hoyler does not want to tap. Eddie
This looks
Bravo
painful.
in position for this calf slice. What a crazy position, man. I consider
So you
myself
can
an expert
feel it in
position.
the
That
ATL?
position is confusing.
Yeah,
right here.
That's what I'm spot.
setups of Eddie Bravo tonight. He's on fire. Looked focused all week. Very calm at the rules meeting. Joking around.
Man, I love everything about both these guys.
Hoyler defending well, and you know, if you know anything about Hoyler, you know he's not going to tap easily. One of the toughest men in mixed martial arts, one of the toughest men in jiu-jitsu. Defending this calf slicer attempt from Eddie Bravo.
Guys, we have 3 minutes left. I mean, these guys have not stopped pushing the action. It's been literally 20 minutes now. Non-stop movement from both these guys in their 40s. These guys are in their 40s.
Crazy.
Hoyler Gracie is 48 years old, ladies and gentlemen.
And he's really putting a lot of pressure now on that calf slicer. Hoyler Gracie.
If I was Gracie, I would tap. There's no way to get out of this.
Yeah.
Hoyler not exactly sure what to do here. It looks like he's
got to push that knee down past his knee to relieve the pressure. And that leg is tied up there. Eddie really putting a lot of pressure on that lower side of the foot of Hoyler Gracie there.
Wow.
2 minutes left, but that's gonna feel like.
It's gonna feel like 2 years.
This is amazing.
It's a brilliant catch here from Eddie Bravo. Hoyler doing his best to try to get out of this position.
And all Eddie has to do is just like lay there and like relax his hands.
Leg of Eddie to try to remove that grip.
Kenny, 2 minutes left here in the match.
This is hurting my knee just watching this at this point, both for Eddie and Hoyler. And you can see Hoyler now
with a
little bit more of a sense of urgency, trying to roll out of it here.
Hoyler does not want to submit in front of us family and friends. Both guys have you know, their whole family academies, all their students are here. Both guys, like I mentioned earlier, have their reputation and bragging rights on the line here. We got a minute 30 here. Denny in the background calling out minute 30.
Hoyler just suddenly smiling.
Both guys smiling here.
Having a great time. I mean, looking at these guys, two legends going out of here. Having a great time out here on the mats at Metamoris.
Exchanging a few words here. I'd be interested to hear what they're talking about. You see Hoyler with a bit of a smile there, Kenny.
Yeah. Eddie Bravo trying to...
Look at these guys looking at each other smiling. This is amazing.
Get rid of this grip. And look at this. The pant leg of Eddie Bravo is helping Hoyler in this exchange.
Yes, Hoyler wise to utilize that pants, man. If it's there, why not use it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that thing I was telling you about.
We have 50 seconds left. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, if you hear the crowd chanting Eddie Bravo.
Both men put in so many hours of technique, of sparring and strength and conditioning, and here we are with 30 seconds left. Eddie Bravo trying to work on that calf slicer foot lock combination. Hoyler Gracie doing his best to get out.
Ooh.
Scramble, a lot of pressure on the ankle of Hoyler Gracie right now.
Hoyler's not going to tap. He would let that break. I'll promise you that right now.
And it may very well be there's a lot of pressure there on the
13
ankle.
seconds. I'll tell you right now, the only way to tap
10
Hoyler Gracie
seconds.
is with a choke. There is no
9,
drop.
8,
Not going to tap from that.
7, 5, 4.
3,
Wow,
2,
what an interesting
1.
position. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were at home to break down that position, I'm impressed.
What a match!
Wow. Standing ovation.
I applaud them.
Stand up and give it up for me.
We went the full 20 minutes.
Yeah. So how was it? That's the overall video. But how was it?
It was intense. Like, that was an intense 20 minutes. Like, it's a no result, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, no, it was a draw. I think it went in Eddie's favor in judgment, which I think is pretty fair. But initial match was no judgment.
I would keep it a no. Like, I'm kind of a traditionalist in the sense that unless there's a decision made, like someone has tapped, there's no decision, or has been pinned rather. So it's like kind of like that wrestling thing. Otherwise, it's a time limit draw. And in old wrestling, they used to do, I think, 20-minute time limits and 30-minute time limits. So if it went overtime and nobody got a win, it was just declared a draw in the old days. So I don't know about modern rules, but yeah, that's usually the traditional rules. But yeah, this is enjoyable because I'm a huge fan of wrestling and grappling, and jiu-jitsu is Brazilian jiu-jitsu especially is very like grappling, and I really enjoy them a lot.
Yeah.
Also, people, I know their faces were touching. No, BJJ is not erotic in any way, shape, or form. Please. You've been calling wrestling gay/lesbian for a long time. No, BJJ is not the same either. Please do not do that. It's just the fact that they're in a struggle. They're not intimate.
Unless you're a masochist, always do BJJ.
Exactly. And please do not get aroused by this. Watch it.
Yeah, no, we have to switch to porn to explain to our parents because it's easier.
Absolutely. No, it's just if it looks weird, just this is just traditional grappling. Just that's about it. That's the history of grappling. But yeah, no, I have happily enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Nick, for having me today. And I'll definitely I just have a bad sleep cycle, but other than that, we'll do some extra stuff together.
Yeah, definitely.
Got to do some good stuff. All right, Nick.
All right. Yeah, take care.
So much. Take care, guys. Thank you so much, and hope you enjoyed this episode.
All right, I'll end the broadcast.
Subscribe, like, share, subscribe.
All right.
Yeah.
So today, for our second part of the podcast, we're going to be discussing academics and overall racism, especially during COVID. This was a massive impact towards people of Asian origin for racism. And my guest today, Catherine Chang, hosts an Instagram page that actually discusses these topics. So we're going to have her on to discuss how the racism looks in her daily applications for college overall. So yeah, Catherine, welcome to this podcast. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well.
Yeah, so just brief introduction about yourself. How's everything going?
I'm doing well. So I'm just basically a high school student. I attend high school in California, Southern California. So a lot of our population has many Asians, more than the rest of other areas in America. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're I know that with the Asian, what people think of as Asians, like South Indians or people from China, Southeast Asia and stuff, we cover almost a fifth of the world's population, a fifth or a quarter of the world's population. So like we're everywhere, but like there's a few areas where we're actually most densely populated, and not everywhere you see the tech industry, you're bound to see a few of us.
Yeah.
That community.
hmm
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Back to like your tech industry and stuff. A lot of my friends who have applied to college are going like the engineer, computer science kind of major thing in college. So we are kind of overrepresented in that area when applying to college. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really shocking. Like I really can't say anything because I'm in computer science field, but yeah, we're definitely out there. That's all I
like,
can comment.
yeah, if it's your passion, then go towards it, even though we might be overrepresented, as long as you like it, you know? Um, so maybe I should begin with like talking about standardized testing and like,
Yeah, exactly. Like the major thing I want to bring up is like the how we get in to college and what kind of racism there is. But like there are a few definitions or things that Canadians particularly don't understand about America, including standardized testing. What exactly is the process of getting into a post-secondary institution and a career? It's a totally different spectrum. So if you want, I'll tell you what we do in Canada, and you can tell us what what you do in America, and then the people will actually know the difference of how to actually get in.
yeah, sounds good.
So yeah, in Canada, basically, in the 4 years that you study high school, or um, 8 semesters, you have to take 30 courses, meaning you're taking 4 courses a semester, and then your very last one you take in your very last year, you take 6 courses per semester, and there are 6 courses in total in your very last year. And then in the final year, in grade 12, you have your top 6 courses. So the remaining, you can do 2 more if you want grade 12 level courses. But universities look at the marks for your top 6 courses. And then in the top 6, you're allowed to take any course you want. Only requirement is you have to take grade 12 English. That's the only requirement. So what you're required to take in your final year of school depends on what the requirements of the school are. So if you're going into computer science, you have to take 2 math courses, one of them including calculus. You have to take a minimum of 1 science, depending on the school. There's some that say, oh, you have to take the um, chemistry and physics. Others say, oh, if you want to go into bioinformatics, they say like take biology and physics and stuff. And if you're going into accounting, there's the high school economics and accounting courses that you can take. If you're going into engineering, you can take the physics and physics, calculus, data management. And I actually took, so we actually have a special course load that is technically called the Asian Six Pack, which is the 3 maths, so advanced functions, calculus, data management, and then 3 sciences, uh, biology, chemistry, and physics. This is called the Asian Six Pack. I took this and took robotics on top of it. So robotics and exercise science on top of this. So I was in the crap because I walked into my exercise science class and they're like, okay, yeah, here, memorize entire muscular system, memorize the Krebs cycle, memorize the electron transport chain, and I'm like, memorize this, memorize that, and then I also had advanced functions and calculus in that semester. And I'm like, oh crap. So like, yeah, I was originally supposed to go into the medical line, but I dropped and went into a pure engineering background. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's essentially how because like my biology and exercise science were not strong enough to be in my top 6 marks for me to be able to apply for a biology-based course. I did do biomedical engineering aspects of my program, but biology wasn't a required top 6 program for that. It's best if you had it, if you've taken it, but they won't look at your actual marks for your admission average. So that's essentially how Canadians get into school. If you want to go into more into depth about how Americans apply for college.
Okay. Before I move on to how we apply, is your course, like the courses you take, just dependent on your major, or like the school you want to get into?
The major and the school. Here, like it, because here in Canada, most of the most of the things are licensed by the government. Like, if you're going into an accountancy program, you have to have certain requirements in your undergrad. And then if you're going into engineering, you have to be licensed. Like, I should have my ring somewhere here, but unfortunately I haven't worked in the field, so I don't wear my ring. You get a licensing ring. I even got my hard hat. But yeah, so it really depends on what program you're going to, because everything is licensed. You almost every school has the same requirement. Now, there are some programs like computer science, like that are out of the ordinary, like the school, a college named, or a university named York University, right next to my place, has a BA program, Bachelor's in Arts in Computer Science. So technically, you're applying to a computer science program, but also technically, it's a Bachelor's in Arts. So I can get into that program without having a computers or with mathematics, physics, and science courses. Even though I'm in a computer science program, I can take one programming course, ICS, Java course in high school, and then go into there with like graphic design, art, visual arts, music, and all that stuff. So there are some programs that require specialized courses, but generally it's always the same courses because it is most of them are licensed fields.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so that's kind of similar to us, but whereas like you want to apply for a major, there's no exact path that you can take really. We have like recommended courses that people usually take. However, it really depends on the school. Like some schools don't want some schools just meet like the bare minimum where like you don't need to take certain courses to get into a good like the college that you want to get into. However, like if you go to a top school, there's like they have like this set of requirements or recommendations that you might not see if you're going to apply for, say, like a community college, right? Yeah. So moving on to like the applications itself, like the whole entire thing. Now it's different because of COVID, but they used to a lot of schools used to require either an SAT score or an ACT score. So those two are like the standardized tests that in America almost every single high schooler has to take, most likely in their junior year. So in 11th grade. So these tests, a lot of kids, especially like Asian Americans, they are, their parents make them go to like study like cram schools or like have thick books to prepare for these tests to ensure that they get a perfect score or near perfect score. Because back to like the race kind of thing that I'll get into kind of later, but the college requirements for an Asian American the bar is set much higher than, say, to our white counterparts. So we need to have those extra points in the SAT. The SAT is out of like 1,600, and it like has math and English or language arts. Actually, this is off topic, but actually like before, like on Monday, I believe, the College Board had canceled the subject tests and essays for the SAT. So that's just fun fact.
Yeah. Wait, they made it only 2 sections? this isn't fair. When I had to write, I had to do the vocab, the essay, and the math test.
Yeah,
and the book was like this thick with the Barron's book with like 2,000 pages in it. Like it was thicker than my engineering books.
Yeah. The SAT like prep books are pretty big, but like there's a lot of tests. And then but like I think it's 4 sections. There's like a grammar and then like a reading, and then there's math calculator and then math no calculator for the SAT.
For me, like I had 3 sections out of 800 for vocab, essay, and mathematics. And each one was out of 800, and we got a total of 2,400, with my score being like it's not the best. I don't want to give out too much of my personal details on the internet because no one will understand. No one uses 2,400 skill now, and two, like unnecessary. But I got shocked that most people don't use that kind of skill anymore. Is there a reason why they got rid of it?
So right now we have it's out of 1,600. So our the English kind of thing is 800, and then the math is 800, and then the essays like optional essays, but most schools recommend you take it, and that's like separate from that 1,600 score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, that seems like fun.
Yeah. And then the ACT is sort of similar to the SAT, except I believe they have a science part to it. So, yeah. People usually submit one score, but like they take both tests to see what they like, and submit their best score. The ACT also has an optional essay that they have not gotten rid of as of now, but maybe in the future, we never know. Yeah, so they want you to pre-COVID, they wanted you to submit. Colleges needed you to submit either one, unless there's like some schools who have less requirements. Yeah. But if you want to go to a top school or like a state school, you would need to submit that. Most of the schools now are either going test optional or test blind. So you can either submit it, or if you submit it, they won't consider your standardized testing score into their admission process. Regarding like GPAs and stuff, for like schools, for high school itself, you need like, it depends on the school, but it's like a 1.5 GPA or 2.5 GPA to actually graduate. So of course you need to meet that requirement. And then schools will take into great consideration your GPA and like your class ranking. At my school, we don't do class ranking, but a lot of other schools around in the area do class ranking. So colleges will also factor that into your admission. As an Asian American, of course, a lot of schools look at your race. They look at the color of your skin, and they're like, okay, do you have a 4.0 GPA or beyond? And then they're like, if you don't have a 4.0 GPA, they might not admit you because you don't fit into that mold, because there's so many other applicants who are similar to you, but they have a better GPA, right? So that plays into the race factor. Regarding classes, we have AP courses, and so those are advanced placement courses, which are like prep college. They're beyond college prep, and they're basically college level courses. And then you can take the AP tests, and some colleges, if you do well, some colleges let you have college credit from those tests. There's also an IB course.
International Bachelorette.
Yeah. Some schools have it, but other schools don't. So it just depends. on that. And they also give like college a credit. Some schools do, some schools don't. Those are those courses are considered like challenges, and they boost your GPA. So if you take it, then yeah, your GPA gets boosted. Um, a lot of colleges also differentiate between if you have an A plus, an A, or just like an A minus. So usually it's like 90 to 93%. Usually, this is not every school, but 90 to 93% is an A minus. 93 to 97 is A, and then 97 and above is an A plus. And then if you are an A plus student, then usually you have a 4.0 GPA. But whereas if you're an A or an A minus student, you might have a 3.7 GPA. So you won't have the full 4.0 GPA.
Yeah. Now, like that's the thing that bothers me with admissions is the fact that they do look at uh, our background because, like, like with America's whole philosophy of you gotta assimilate and be treated equally in front of everyone or equally judged. But then we're also treated as academically superior to a point where every single one of us has to get kicked in the nuts, metaphorically, for admissions. I don't see what kind of thing that America actually has, and especially for someone for a country that has a standardized test of intelligence at such a complex level. I don't know how the bar can be so low for intelligence when it comes to like not seeing what the actual mission statement of or the overall mission of the country is and what they're actually doing in terms of admissions for education.
Yeah. The bar there's it's kind of like it's really different for us compared to other people, kind of like bringing into like affirmative action where colleges look at your race and determine if you're like if there's a lot of Asians, they won't admit a lot of those Asians because they look at your race and determine if you should get admitted or not. So like if you wanted to apply for like you're like a STEM major, right? We are overrepresented in that area. So just in general, we won't get admitted as much just because of our race, which a lot of people find it as a problem, but there's also other people who think that we should have equity over like equality. They think that yes, we should have people admitted on their race so that they can have equal opportunities, but kind of like they're given the different role like benefits to reach these equal opportunities.
Yeah, for me, I personally don't. I respect that opinion as well. Like, yeah, give scholarships, have charitable events. Like, if there is an underdeveloped area in certain races, actually have community centers that have tuition assistance or prep or SAT prep programs. They make it look that going to school is cool, but you don't have to drag another person down to make one person go up.
Yeah, exactly. Like people other on the other hand, from like people who don't support affirmative action, they think that yeah, equality should come first. Like we should all be treated the same despite our race. Like they think that affirmative action itself is it like it doesn't combat racism. It's trying to fix fix and fix racism without actually using racism. I mean, actually using racism to fix racism.
Yeah, because like the best way I personally feel that we can actually fix issues when it comes to the actions like this, which I've been very vocal about in the recent times, is you gotta helping a person who's down doesn't mean pulling his competitors to his level. It's about pushing the person who's down up to the level of the competitors.
Mm-hmm.
It's so like if there are areas where education rates are extremely low, like we can take some ghetto areas or some trailer park areas where the education rate is really low. The best way to actually help them out would to actually be setting. There are a lot of churches in the area. There are a lot of community centers. There's religious establishments. Why don't we use the basements of those areas? Why don't we use the gymnasiums of the area to actually run SAT preps or to tuition assistance or scholarships or subject tutorials to improve their lives? Because like I worked hard for my sport. Like I studied by myself. I carried the books myself. I worked hard to get into the schools I did when I was applying for the states. So what benefit is it going to have for the person next to me when I'm literally dragged below his level for him to succeed, rather than him being pushed up to my level so he can compete with me? No one's benefiting when both people are being dragged down. But when the person who's dragged down is pushed up to a higher level, both people are benefiting at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we understand that they might not have as many opportunities as we have, but we are equally or even harder working than they are to reach towards our goals. Like you said, you carry your own books, you study all by yourself just to get your mission or just to be even considered, right? Because even though we have those perfect test scores, we have that 4.0 GPA, those incredible essays, we aren't guaranteed to get admitted. We're just considered. Also, a lot of people who are against affirmative action, they argue that instead of affirmative action, we should, like you said, provide scholarships, provide financial aid to focus on these people who don't have who are like these other minorities who don't have access to better education.
Yeah.
And
there's actually stuff for what we say, there's actually things that show there's actually evidence out there that this stuff does help, because there's this organization called Women in Engineering, which in the past few years or so, it has drastically increased the number of women who attend engineering programs by providing scholarships, professional development, easier access to jobs, and so on. The link will be in the description to check out the website. But doing something like that, rather than saying if you are a male, we will take away marks for you because the woman need to be able to enter engineering programs.
Yeah.
Because you don't, at this point, we don't know what exactly the reasons are for not applying, because I've been Asian my entire life. I've seen a lot of Asian people, and I'm pretty sure Asian people aren't going and ripping apart and burning the applications of another group or a race of people, whoever is lower. I know Korean people are the highest income people, or from the last statistic I read. They're not burning the job applications or the admission applications of the other race people who are on average earning less than them. Right? Mm-hmm. So what exactly is stopping them is the lack of resources, in their area. So what we can actually do to fix it is just putting in the resources rather than taking away the resources from the people who don't or who do have it.
Yeah, instead of like holding their hand through the whole entire process, we should just encourage them on the sidelines or like give them a little push so that they can lead their own way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, a big problem that I've seen is that a lot of Asian Americans don't speak out for like their experience, like not like towards racism against themselves, right? They don't for I've seen a few statistics where it's like we don't have an ideal like voting percentage in the US from the Asian American percentage. We don't really speak out enough for like what we want. That's what I've seen. So yeah.
Yeah, like the biggest difference I actually like I have to remind people that I everyone says, "Oh, Nick, you have it lucky. You have so." I don't know if most people before I started this podcast when I was only an audio only podcast. Most people when they didn't see my name, they thought I was a white guy just because of my accent. And when I start talking about how racist, when I start speaking up and talk to them about how racism exists and how how we can actually fix racism with saying these particular points, they're shocked saying your white value of racism doesn't count. And I'm like, my brownness isn't a tan. I'm from India. Like, who the hell are you calling a white guy? Like, just because the person has a certain skin color doesn't make their opinion void. Because like I can go to Quebec right now, and the thing about French people is they hate other French people, right? So I can speak fluent French, but because I'm an Anglophone or my first language is English, even though I speak fluent French, they hate me, whether I'm white or not white. If my first language is not French, they hate me in Quebec to the point where there are so many attacks. My French teacher actually had a beer bottle smashed over his head when he was in college because he was an Anglophone. So racism can exist everywhere, and we gotta. And it's not the day it gets fixed. The day we can look at stuff other than the color of someone's skin, and look at and then actually look at what the solution that they're providing is. It's the day that we're actually fixing racism. Because at this point, everyone's doing just in this topic, like everyone's just doing identity politics, and at the end of the day, it is still racist. Are you saying that African American communities cannot work as hard as Asian communities? Yeah, they can. If you provide them the same tutorial points, like SAT classes that Asian Americans have, obviously they'll come in and study. But the fact that no one's putting in money for that, they're putting in money to drop my ACT points and SAT points so they can apply. It's not going to help anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Also, like a lot of people think that when they want to fix racism or make it like less prevalent, they think that everyone's just saying, "Oh, you should just be race blind. You should just totally ignore it." But like part of what a lot of people who are like they want to improve in the society we live in are trying to just say that we do look at the color of your skin, but we're not going to discriminate against you just because of the color of your skin. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's something I see like as someone who's an industry professional as well. I see this in the workplace where I try to go based off my technical skills rather than applying for jobs based off of race, because so far what I see from corporations, let's say Nike, talks so much against racism, about how everyone has to be equal. It supports Black Lives Matter. It supports so many other things. But at the same time, can they really say they're not for racism? They're only doing that as a marketing thing. Colleges and universities are still making money because people have to get a degree to earn money. So like they have no choice but to go to university. That's why there's still racism in there. But companies, if they're a racist company, no one's going to come and work for them. So they have no choice but to follow certain laws and support certain causes in order to make their money. Because if Nike really cared about being equal, it would not have slave labor in sweatshops in Asia.
Mm-hmm. And
like,
it would,
yeah, if they were really liberal, as they claim, supporting Colin Kaepernick or supporting so and so, writing Black Lives Matter on every shirt that they sell, they would not be having like I've seen sweatshops. Some of the kids that get in there, it's like the mob. The kids try to leave, their legs get broken so they can't run away. It's a really horrible, dark, almost like a mafia style scheme that's ran to make our clothing essentially. And if people truly think that institutions are not racist for supporting certain causes, they have to look again. And there's a lot, and we have to look at what the solution is for it rather than looking for where that solution is coming from.
yeah. This is probably less like severe than the child labor itself, but within the companies as well, not just from like the production standpoint, but like a lot of companies have a lot of white, like they hire a lot of white people, right? And they're predominantly white. Some, of course, doesn't apply to every single company, but they don't change themselves, like the composition, the diversity within their company. So I don't see like why, like you said, just on the outside for marketing, they're trying to support, um, they're trying to battle racism, but are they actually doing that?
Yeah, like by no means do I recommend just hiring people for token diversity.
Yeah.
Like, let us take all these Hollywood act. Let's take biggest example is Ellen. She talks a lot about how she has to be kind and equal, but as the famous comedian Tim Dillon puts it, she runs an Abu Ghraib style situation in the back. If an intern comes late, his car gets dashed and he gets yelled at, and she has a lot of workplace harassment claims. So just replacing people for the sake of token diversity, I don't think is good because Ellen is different. She is a person from the LGBTQ community and she is in a position of success. That doesn't necessarily mean she is good at her job. She's not the best human being because she is abusing her work employees. Whereas if you have someone like Conan, who is he's supposed to be the worst person alive according to Identity Politics. A 6 foot tall man with blonde hair, white. He's supposed to be the worst person alive, but the guy's probably the nicest guy with his fans, interns, employees, and so on. Yes. So I think it's more about we really have to be blind as to who we're selecting and make it so that we're judging based off of the actual merit and skill rather than the race of a person. I'm not saying boost Asian people mark stuff. I'm just saying there shouldn't be a difference as to how you look at an Asian person, a white person, or a African American person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you really want to fix their basis, put the same educational institutions that are in Asian American communities, in African American communities, and in white people or white communities, Caucasian communities, and give everyone the equal opportunity. Equal opportunity is probably the best thing that can happen, but equal outcome is not the best because I shouldn't have the same equal outcome as Elon Musk. The guy's a genius. He turned two empty ICBMs into rockets. And then you have me here that makes logos. Like me and him should not be earning the same money for equal opportunity just because I'm brown and he's a white guy.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, even I've read a lot of articles about people who've like had their white counterparts or their other people of color counterparts um have not been able to be admitted to like a school or accepted to a job, even though they might have better scores, better applications, or better experience because of the color of their skin. And even in the workplace, like people of color and women, they don't have equal pay, even though they might have the same um, education, they might have the same level of um, work, right? They might but like as you said, it all comes down to your skill, right? We don't want token diversity. I totally agree with you on that part. We want to look at the actual skill, the actual um amount of value a person has rather than the color, just the color of their skin.
Yeah, like just bringing back that Elon Musk example, he's a 6 foot tall white guy, like, but I'm not going to take him out of his position just because he's white or he fits, and then I'm not going to put some brown guy because or some Asian guy just because of token, right? Like token activism. I want the same opportunities as Elon Musk. I want to be able to go study engineering at a reputable school if I get the marks. I want to be able to go to an SAT prep class just like someone else would. I would like to be able to write the same AP test. If I'm allowed to write the test, I'm allowed to go to the same test prep school, and I don't get the same marks as someone else, the other person can go in. Or if I beat the other person, I should be able to go in.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. Like, we might not want the same outcomes, but we want the same opportunities, as you've said before.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's snow. Yeah, this is how the snow looks. I know you're from the California region, so I hope you can actually see the snow.
I can see a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's like full. 1 second. I hope you can actually see it.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, it's nice. Yesterday, a few days ago, we had like winds and then like a few.
I hope you saw that.
Yeah, I did. It's really pretty.
Yeah, unfortunately, you guys don't get any of that in California, right?
Yeah, we don't. Unless we go to like the mountains and stuff. We got like winds a few days ago and like fires, a few small fires here and there. And we had like a lot of power outages too. So fun stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty fun to have warm weather, be able to take walks.
But it's kind of we get used to it, but it's kind of boring sometimes.
Yeah, here, well, the same thing for like it's really fun here because like some people are just like, oh, how do you go out when it's cold? And I'm like, how do you go out? Like I get people from India being like, oh my God, it's -5. How do you actually go out and not just stay at home? And I'm like, yeah, you're the guys telling me when you wear like black shirts and suits when it's like 45 degrees.
Yeah. We probably have to like we wear thick jackets and stuff when it's like 50 degrees.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you guys use Fahrenheit, right?
Yeah, we use Fahrenheit instead of Celsius.
Oh yeah.
Things. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually like I'm in engineering, so I use Celsius. Like I can't really do Fahrenheit.
Yeah, I don't know why it's different. Well, it might be expensive to change it all, but I think it would be useful if we just converted everything to what the rest of the world is using. But we have to be special.
Yeah, freedom. There's like a symbol of Fahrenheit with like a bald eagle flying in the background, a shotgun, the American flag waving, Star Spangled Banner. Yeah, like Joe Biden and Trump fighting each other in a boxing match. Yeah, and then we have Canada, like with Canada, RCMP riding a moose with a beaver in his hand with poutine in the other hand. So saying "No Canada" with the Canadian flag waving in the background.
They're cute.
Yeah, it's pretty. You guys should visit Canada at least once, because it's a. Pardon?
I'll try to visit Canada. Any places that you recommend that we go?
I actually recommend going to BC.
Okay.
Toronto. And well, you're from LA, so Toronto won't be that different, other than like just seeing the CN Tower. But like BC, that snowy landscape, and then going to Churchill if you actually want to see polar bears. Then going to the Maritime Province.
Okay. Oh yeah, and does like your money actually smell like maple syrup?
No.
No.
It's plastic.
Oh yeah, we have paper money. I think Australia has plastic, right? They have
Yeah, they do as well. The euro is plastic. No, the pound is plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, let me see if I can show you. But if I actually, I know my broke ass doesn't have any actual money on me right now to show you. But yeah. And another thing that you guys don't have down there that's gonna make me super jealous. My health card. I swipe this thing. I can throw this whenever I walk into the hospital. I toss this thing and like a rapper tossing an Amex card in the air. Like, yeah.
We can't relate.
Yeah, no, it's really fun to just like we'll break like there's people that just go to the hospital for a sneeze or a cough just because of how free it is.
Lucky. Some people are like calling Ubers when they go into like labor and stuff because they can't afford like
an ambulance.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I find that stupid because like there's so much bipartisan in America that it's stupidly crazy. Like in Canada, there's not that much bipartisan. Like let's take healthcare for an example, and specifically in that, like this is from Jagmeet Singh, who was the NDP leader. One of the biggest issues that you have in healthcare is like what everyone in Canada agrees that healthcare is a human right, but to what extent should we cover it as free is the debate. Whereas in America, if I say healthcare is a human right, half the population is going to bite my head off. Or if I say healthcare is not a human right, half the population is also going to bite my head off. In Canada, like the example is, this is the example Jagmeet Singh gives on the Breakfast Club, is kidney. I think it's called dialysis. Yeah, kidney dialysis, which is when your kidney fails and they have to pump fluids and all that, and the whole shebang. It costs $50,000 to do.
Yeah.
Whereas the actual medical treatment costs $500 to $1,000. Now, an average Joe doesn't have $500 to $1,000 to just give for money or to give for medicine, which is not free in Canada. You have to pay for your meds. So what Jagmeet Singh's party proposes is healthcare is a human right. You all agree. The country's like, yeah, fair enough. But like I don't want Tylenol costs $25. I really shouldn't have to be paying for someone else's $25 Tylenol bill. I'll pay for his broken leg, but not his Tylenol. But what Jagmeet Singh says is, why wait till the last minute for a lot of these disorders? Like the kidney failure thing, why wait till he has a $50,000 bill when you can pay for medicines as well? It's only going to cost you $1,000 to pay for medicine. You're saving $49,000. So that's the kind of debates we have in Canada, whether medicines count or medicines don't count, or does psychiatry count as 100% medical or like covered or something like that, or dentistry and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in America, like half the country is going to bite my head off for any form of discussion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys had fun in the last election, didn't you?
Yeah, we had so much fun. 2 days ago was the inauguration. So it was pretty cool. There were fireworks and stuff.
Yeah, I personally, I know it's bad for the Americans, but I'm personally sitting up here and laughing.
Yeah, because like we're so divided and whatever. So like now we have to reunite or something like that to actually become our free country.
Yeah, like it's like I understand the idea of divide, but like you guys are providing us first class entertainment with like being so divided.
Mm-hmm.
Like even in the middle of a pandemic, you guys can't decide. Like you guys are such individuals that your individualism oversees protecting the person next to you, and it really like it's as sad as it is. It's for a Canadian, it's first class entertainment. Like I actually paid for CNN or cable just to watch CNN, almost as if same way I buy UFC. Like I'm a huge UFC fan, and I never bought UFC Fight Pass. I've always pirated the videos I watched.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas CNN, it was the first time for us actually paying for that cable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have like a lot of. Sometimes they throw a lot of shade, but and like especially like their story headers and stuff. Yeah, I heard somewhere where I saw somewhere on like the Instagram where it's like America is a third world country just wearing a Gucci belt.
Yeah, it pretty much is.
Yeah.
Because like if we want to make fun of our prime minister, the only thing we can really say is the fact that he did that blackface when he was a teenager, and he taught a party trick about how to accidentally fall up the stairs. Like those are the only two things you can actually make fun of him about. Whereas
in America,
both the only thing progressive about Biden is the fact that it is dementia.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm like, bro, what the hell are you guys doing with Biden and Kamala? Like, you're telling me you couldn't bring better candidates to fight against Donald Trump?
Yeah, there were a lot of good candidates, like there were many diverse candidates then during like the Democratic when they were candidates, presidential. Yeah, but then they chose Joe Biden.
Yeah, I'm like, why not Andrew Yang or Tulsi Gabbard? Like, this isn't some statement being anti-woman or anti-Biden. Like, Andrew Yang's 45 and he's Asian. Tulsi is a Hindu woman of color who was an army veteran.
Yeah. And then just recently in the Senate, like our Senate is pretty old. Like John Ossoff, he's like he's like the first millennial in our Senate right now. So
yeah, I don't mind old people being in parliament because like they have experience I can't even imagine. But
they shouldn't
pardon?
They shouldn't like be like 99% of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it should go based off of merit, because in the entire debate or whatever, I haven't heard one good thing out of Biden. This guy pulls answers out of his ass. Sorry for the profanity, but he starts talking about manufacturing when he gets asked about taxes. So, so yeah, Trump's gone. Thank God for that. But like, what good use is Biden for? The guy can't even answer the question properly. Then you got Yang that doesn't give out an opinion unless he has 4 statistics to back it up. Then you got Tulsi, who's an actual war veteran.
Yeah.
And comparing her with Kamala Harris, who puts people of color in prison for petty crimes and doesn't want to release them because of her anti-democratic opinions, it just baffles my mind how she's elected over her counterpart who destroyed her in every sense.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, is there anything else you want to add to the podcast? Any things you want to promote?
Not at the moment. Just maybe check out our Instagram page, and yeah.
Yeah, it'll be in the description. Well, thank you for joining us, and I hope everyone enjoys the episode. Feel free to reach out and check the description for more information.
Yes.
All right. Take care, guys.